Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome on, everyone. Welcome. Today, I am going to talk about exiting the 3D and creating your future, building your future. Especially as a sensitive individual, a conscious entrepreneur, when we're building these futures, it requires a lot of resiliency and the ability to exit from the 3D. We genuinely have to disconnect from what we see in the physical realm. Because when you're building something bigger than you, your faith needs to be stronger than what you see in front of you. And I was inspired to come onto live and talk about this because in the last few sessions with my clients, this theme has been consistent. My clients have gone through a lot in their lives and they feel tired. And this often happens with people that are spiritually, I want to say, in tune, right? I feel that the people with an understanding of the spiritual realm and the realm of energy are oftentimes put through the most challenging of challenges, the most challenging of trials. And I feel that this happens to a lot of us because we're meant to experience the depths of the depths in order to acknowledge when we are in the highs of the high, right? We have to see both ends of the spectrum and everything in between to be able to use our gift of intuition, of sensitivity to our highest potential. So, oftentimes, sensitive individuals and spiritual individuals will often go through a lot. Like they will be put through the ringer, like genuinely pulled through the ringer. And this is required for them to acquire a well rounded understanding and perspective of life. Your trials and your challenges and the pain and the sorrows that you went through are going to be used as light for someone else along the line. And I feel this genuinely in my heart and in my soul. Like this is, your pain is going to be someone else's light. Hello, Sabrina. Your pain is going to be someone else's light. And I come onto this live with the intention of talking about this topic. Why is it that a lot of us spiritual people and very sensitive people, right? Especially as I want to say people with big dreams or we're already pursuing the journey of entrepreneurship. Why is it that we get put through so much and yet we're still being asked to do more and we're still being asked to push on? I mean, like we want to just argue like, hello, like we want to tell God, we want to tell the universe like, hello, we've been like you've put me through so much, like what more do you want from me? And that's because your story is not over yet. Your story is not over yet. You haven't experienced all that you must experience in order to get you to where you've been praying to get to. And oftentimes we will fear taking that next step because we are afraid of repeating the cycle of pain and sorrow and sadness and confusion and doubt. Because we compare it to the past. It feels risky to take that next step because we imagine that the next step is going to look like what we've been through. When in reality, what you went through, the wisdom that you gained through this experience here is going to lighten the load on this next journey when you take this next step. So it requires a high level of faith on your part, a very high level of faith, and a commitment to leap into the unknown consistently over and over. I mean, that is what we are being asked of constantly, especially as intuitive individuals. We are being asked to take the leap of faith, oh my God, so often. And it genuinely feels draining because it feels so scary. And having to jump into the unknown consistently and constantly is scary. It is scary. And it's literally like when we fight it and when we resist, we waste a lot of energy on that resistance, which is why we experience the draining aspect of it. Welcome to the live, my friends. Like the live as you're coming in. This is the live for you if you are tired of being asked to push on. And if you just finally want to relax, my friend, you will be able to relax, but maybe now is not the time. Maybe God is asking you to push on because there is so much more for you to see and do. There is an assignment that you must fulfill despite the pain and the sadness and the sorrow that you might be going through. As you please. So when we are becoming intuitive individuals, like we're being forced to leap into the unknown. Like there's this story. I have a story for y'all. There's this guy, he did a TED Talk and he was speaking on intuition, right? Intuition in business, in our personal lives, and its impact and the purpose of it. Well, this guy, he's been married a few times. He was talking about how in his first marriage, in his first wedding, there was this feeling inside of him that said, this something doesn't feel right. Something does not feel right. When he was about to marry his first wife, on the day of the wedding, something inside of him was telling him something does not feel right. But he committed. He said his vows. They committed. And after months of couples counseling, they eventually separated. And notice how his intuition was telling him this is not the right woman for you. This is not the right move for you. But he resisted. Why? Because it's the aftermath of listening to that intuitive notion. What would happen if he did listen to that intuitive notion? What would happen? Well, then he would have to call off the wedding, and then he would have to deal with the disappointment of his family. And maybe he didn't have the energetic and emotional capacity to handle that. Maybe he did not feel brave enough to do that. And so he took it on. He decided to suffer through months of being with this woman that his soul and spirit was telling him was not right for him, because he did not have the courage of calling off the wedding, even though his body and his soul was telling him, you can't be here and this is not right for you. After him and his wife separated, he met this woman that he described just felt right. Being with her just felt right. You have to pay attention to the feeling. What feeling are you getting? And this is how you know if it is intuition or ego or emotions, because many of us do get overwhelmed with deciphering between, is it intuition and is it ego? And is it just my hyper emotionalism? Is it my anxiety? Your intuition will always feel clear to you. And I teach my clients the way you feel what is right for you and being able to trust it requires your ability to tune in to your body's sensations. In order to hear your intuition and feel your intuition, you must get in tune with your body. So if you are naturally a hyper emotional or an individual with like heightened anxiety constantly, the first step for you would be to learn how to ground yourself, how to release the anxiety. Release the anxiety and surrender. Surrender to the flow of things, even when it does not make logical sense. In regards to the story I just told you with the guy, it wouldn't make logical sense to call off a wedding on the day of the wedding, right? It doesn't make no logical sense, but yet his spirit was still asking him to do that, right? Why? Because his spirit knows. I have a theory, and not only is it a theory, it's actually backed by real physics, science, the law of assumption. This universe is operated off of energy molecules, really atoms, right? You know this. You know that we are made of atoms. So with that in mind, wouldn't it make sense that your spirit can sense the energy around you within your environment, right? How do we describe instincts? I mean, how can we explain the nature of instinctual feelings other than our instincts have been with us since the day we were born and even before that? Your instincts are the purpose of instincts is survival, is to thrive, not only to survive but to thrive. Your intuition is designed for you to experience life with the least resistance. When we have the courage to surrender, and when we have the courage to let go of control, right? We fight what our bodies are trying to tell us. We fight it and we fight it. And we create our own depression. We create our own anxiety. And I'm a firm believer of that. I'm a firm believer of the fact that we create our own suffering. Because oftentimes we know what's best for us. We know what must be done. We know the best decision for us, for ourselves, and yet we still resist. We resist because it's too scary. I'm too scared of what's going to happen after I make this decision. I know what's best for me, but I'm too scared. You know, I know this man is giving me red flags, but I can't leave. I'm scared of being alone. I know this girl is toxic and narcissistic, but I can't leave her. I'm just too attached. So we create our own suffering. We know what's best for us, yet we fail to have the courage to commit to that. Why? We lack trust, self-trust. It's really healing when we allow ourselves to express ourselves freely. And I had a session with a client today, and she has stated to me that she feels like her life is falling apart because she's observing herself break out of her shell. Her whole life, she has defined herself as this quiet, hello, Lana, and hello, super producer. Did you know I was going to ask that? Ask what? Ask what? Am I an intuition expert? I'm an intuition knower, teacher, yes, experiencer, implementer, right? When you have the courage to surrender to intuition and what your body's telling you, yes, you're able to speak on behalf of what you've experienced. Yes. Not a grammar knower. But my client, she's told me that she feels like her life is falling apart because she finally spoke out, right? In a way that she has not before. When you're being disrespected, if you're a people pleaser, you do not stand up for yourself. You just take it. You let people step on you because you have not built the strength to love yourself enough and find yourself as worthy enough to advocate on behalf of your own self. You seek approval, you seek validation, and you seek support from externally. So you break that trust within yourself, within your body and yourself and your spirit and your mind. You betray yourself by not speaking out against in favor of yourself, y'all. I can't. What does your intuition tell you about me? That's a very great question that you're trolling. So when we start to do something that is not that we're not used to, I know that. Thank you very much, super producer. Thank you for the roses. Oh my goodness. Thank you. When we do something that we're not used to, naturally our bodies trigger our bodies flag it as like, hello, you're stepping out of the safety of your own routine of self-betrayal. So when you start like standing up for yourself, like say someone disrespects you, right? 1 year ago you would have you would have stayed quiet, right? You would have just stayed like quiet, right? Your mouth would have stayed shut. 1 year later you find yourself giving disrespect back, right? You start snapping back. You start speaking. You start vocalizing. You start clearing that throat chakra in a way that you've been needing to this whole time. And it feels like you're going crazy. It feels like you're becoming someone you don't even recognize. And of course you are, because you are. Because you're finally advocating for yourself. Because you're finally doing what you should have done 1 year ago. 1 year ago, you should have advocated for yourself. 1 year ago, you should have said, no, I don't like that. You don't talk to me like that. 1 year ago. And so when you finally start doing that, your body gets put into fight or flight mode. I mean, obviously, it's like you're afraid. And it goes back to your childhood as well. I mean, if we grew up in childhoods where we're obligated to stay quiet, right? Don't speak unless you're spoken to, where our opinions were not celebrated and were not encouraged to be shared, or especially if you come from an ethnic household. I mean, I know from me, my dad is that way. Like, my dad does not take no sort of disrespect, and it's like he takes disrespect as if you have an opinion that is opposite of his. Oh, you know he's mad. Yeah, you know he's mad. You know he's gonna get mad. You know he's gonna take it as disrespect. So when you grow up in that kind of household where you're kind of walking on eggshells, of course you choose to stay quiet because you had to, for your own survival and for your own safety. I mean, that's exactly what it was like with my father. My father did not approve of or appreciate any of his children having opinions that were different than his or challenging his beliefs, right? He would take it as defiance. So if you have a father and a mother with this way of thinking and believing and acting, you're constantly in survival mode. You're constantly in survival mode. But when we come out and but when we move out on our own, y'all, you need to know and recognize when you're still running on that mindset that you had when you were in survival mode. And it's up to you to affirm that, hey, you're safe. You're okay now. You're right. You're not going to get hurt emotionally, verbally, for standing up for yourself. You have to manually create that safety within yourself, especially if you grew up in toxic households where you were not allowed to question authority. You must manually create that sense of safety within yourself and build that sense of safety within yourself. And yes, it's hard. And yes, it feels scary. And yes, it feels unfamiliar. But it's possible and it is realistic. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in, y'all. So when you start going out of your comfort zone, when you start saying things that you wouldn't normally say, like, let me tell y'all a story. One time I used to work at a job, and this job was actually like annoying. There was one manager, just one manager throughout the whole facility, just one person in a position of power or authority, right? One person running this whole thing. We were really short staffed, obviously. It was the manager, and she had a sister that was working on the same level as me and all the rest of them. And then there was a front office lady, a secretary. Now, the sister, the manager, and the secretary had a little favoritism thing going on. And for a long time, the secretary's job was really freaking easy, first of all. The secretary's job was really easy. Sometimes I would see her doing her freaking nails. She was a nail tech. Sometimes I would see her with her little drill going zzz, zzz, while we are working hella hard. It was an adult. It was a developmental. It was a adult program, adult day program for adults with disability for adults with developmental for adults with developmental disabilities. There we go. I got it out. Oh my god. So, anyways, so the job was challenging in the sense that you got to be observant, very aware of your surroundings, very aware of what's going on around you. You know what I'm saying? Energetically, it was taxing, mentally taxing. And so when you observe a secretary kind of just doing nothing all day, and on top of that, she's able to like leave without clocking out and go get her and her friends, Dutch bros, and food on a regular basis, I was like, I wonder if this same freedom applies to the rest of us that are actually obligated to stay in these classrooms and do the work, right? And I was observing this. Everyone was aware of what the hell was going on, but no one was brave enough to say nothing. I'm like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Y'all claim that this freaking workplace is something about fairness and equality. You know what they say, right? They got to do it legally. And so one day when this HR lady, she was like licensing, she was in the manager's office while we were having a team meeting. What is that? Oh, nothing. While we were having a team meeting. And y'all, I made it my mission to call out the bull that I noticed and that I picked up on. I wanted to question it. I wanted to challenge it. Like, hello, does this freedom that y'all have apply to the rest of us? Like, could I just leave without clocking out to go get me a drink or some food or some fast food like y'all do 2 and 3 times a day? I want to know. So, anyways, this was very much against what I was used to doing, y'all. Just understand that I was a people pleaser for like almost 2 decades. For about 2 decades. People pleaser, right? And this means when someone says, "Do you like this?" Or, "Are you sure you like that? Like, are you sure you're okay with your food? Are you sure you're okay with this?" I would say yes, even though I had a concern, even though I wanted something changed about it. That's what I mean by people pleaser. And people pleaser in the sense of, I was a people pleaser in the sense of never showing any sort of negative emotion that might upset the other person. In other words, I did not allow myself to be authentic for the sake of keeping other people comfortable. And I was betraying myself in that way. Immensely, constantly, consistently, every day, betraying myself, betraying what was true to me. So, of course, I was living in resentment and bitterness. Like, of course. I mean, that's what happens when you betray yourself and you don't advocate for yourself on a regular basis. That's what happens when you fake, when you put on a mask. You go home and you're full of resentment and anger because you couldn't bear the courage to say your truth, to be truthful, to be authentic. You're so stuck in survival mode and keeping yourself safe mode that you're literally lying. You're literally manipulating people with your kindness. Your kindness is manipulation if it is not authentic. If you are being and acting kind and sweet and nice and concerned against your own will, that's manipulation. So you're not doing anyone a favor. You're lying to yourself, you're draining yourself, and you're manipulating the other person that you're talking to, acting like you care. Don't act like anything. Be you and be authentic. Be you and be authentic. So, anyways, during this team meeting, I was trying to figure out like when was the right time to like, say something. When should I step up and say something and call it out? And of course, I'm very professional with it, very graceful with it, of course. I'm never, even when oh my God, at that job, there was so many like, there were so many people that dragged me into the office to try and say something about me, and they'd be like this, and I'm sitting in my seat, sitting down, while they're above me trying to dominate me with their energy. Like, sit down. Oh my God, sit down. You see how they try to, oh my God, dominate you. They try to intimidate you. But when you are secure in yourself, and when you don't let no one take you out of your nature, you handle conflict with grace, with respect, with dignity, while still holding your ground. Understand that difference. When you know yourself and when you ground yourself in your own authenticity, right? When you're met with challenges, there's no need to step out of the bounds that you've created for yourself, right? The values that matter to you. When you're secure in yourself, you don't step out of the values, the morals that you've built for yourself that matter to you, right? You don't lose your dignity and integrity when you are met with challenges and conflict, especially when someone's trying to intimidate you. I mean, what are you going to do then? And this lady was grown. She was grown. Like she's like 50 something, and she's tall and big, taller than me. You know what I'm saying? Like she's big, like tall, like big, like just big, tall. And she said, and after, we reconciled after a while after, she was being disrespectful to me. That's why we had to get it handled. And I don't take no disrespect. Like, if you're going to disrespect me to my face, not behind my back, is what I'm trying to say. If you got something to say it to my face. So anyways, we handled it in the office. Anyways, and she's taller than me, right? And so I think it was her intimidation tactic to stand above me and yell at me with her little attitude. I felt very powerful, just not letting that shake me up. Right? What are you going to do when you're met with someone that's trying to challenge you and take you out of your nature? I mean, are you going to let them win, or are you going to hold your ground with grace? That's a beautiful thing if you can get to that point of holding your ground with grace and dignity, integrity. Of course, match their energy to an extent. Thank you, Idris. Match their energy to an extent. Hi, Idris. Hello. And don't let anyone disrespect you, of course. Handle it, but handle it with grace. Handle it with, dignity. Don't let anyone take you out of your nature, out of what you would usually do, out of your usual, personality. And anyways, after we handled it in the office, and after we reconciled after like weeks, you know what I'm saying? She said, "Yeah, ma'am, I thought I was like, man, Miriam can eat me up." The reason why she said that, I'm gonna tell you why. is because I stood my ground. You don't let anyone intimidate you, dude. Don't let anyone intimidate you. Don't let anyone silence you. Don't give anyone the power. Don't give anyone the power to silence you and make you small. Do not. Do not. Because when you have no one on your side, you need to be on your own side. You need to have your own back. You need to have your own back. When they're yapping like this and screaming at you, la, 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 I don't want you to scream back. You better not be screaming back. You better be holding your ground, holding your composure, handling the issue with dignity, with class. Don't let anyone take you out of your power. Don't let anyone take you out of your power. You have these values and morals. Don't let anyone take you. Stop trolling. Oh my goodness. Get away. Y'all are funny. I'm not here to laugh though. I'm here to talk. So if you grew up in survival mode and very heavily anxious, very people pleaser, it's definitely going to be a challenge to secure yourself and build a sense of safety within yourself and your body and your mind and your spirit. It's a challenge, of course, and it'll be scary, but it's going to be worth it. And that is required of you. Because the longer that you allow social anxiety to hold you down, you are genuinely stopping yourself from so many opportunities that could be open for you, but because you haven't gotten over your anxiety, because you haven't built the courage to say yes to yourself, you ignore those opportunities, and then so many opportunities go by you, years go by, and now you're filled with regret that you spent so many years staying small for the sake of other people's comfort. And understand that no one is comfortable when you keep yourself small. People can see that, and I know you know that, right? If you're a very anxious individual, you know that. You know that people see you anxious. You know that, right? Because you're hyper aware. You're hyper vigilant. You're very aware of what people are possibly thinking of you or perceiving you as. Hi, Melinda. Welcome in, girl. And I genuinely challenge you to stop caring, right? Tomorrow, if you go out in public, hello, Anise. I'm very curious if you have like social anxiety or if you're a naturally anxious person, can you put down in the comments what is it that excuse me. What is it that holds you back? Is it the feeling that you can't advocate for yourself? Is it the fear of speaking your truth? I'm genuinely curious. So what is it that holds you back? Is it the anxiety, social anxiety of not being approved of or being validated? Because I know I used to struggle with that a lot. Like I used to have so much social anxiety, y'all. Like nowadays in this season of my life, y'all, like I am just like F it, F it, F it, F it, F it, F it, F it. I don't care. And I love that I don't care because I love myself to the extent of not caring what anyone thinks because I've given myself permission to be. I have given myself permission to be. fearlessly, right? Unapologetically, like just be you and understand that the right people that are going to choose you are going to love you for who you are. You have to understand that, right? Oftentimes anxiety tells us you have to be this way in order to be approved of, in order for people to approve you or validate you or like you. That's what the anxiety tells us. But in reality, we are actually repelling the right people from coming into our lives. When we listen to this social anxiety that says, hey, you have to act like this in order to be okay, in order to be safe, in order to be chosen. No, that's not true. That's not true. We're just building a bigger hole for ourselves when we continue to listen to the anxiety. We're building a bigger hole for ourselves. Instead of facing the fear is the light, right? You got to look up. There's the light, right? Because right now you're in a hole, you're in a ditch, right? You got to look up, look at the light. In order to get to the light, you got to push past the fear. The fear. You have to push past the fear. And the fear is going to make you feel like you're losing your breath. It's going to make you shake. I mean, come on, like it's a whole experience. Your whole body is being forced out of its comfort zone. Of course, it's going to feel unnatural. Now the question is, do you have the courage and the strength to push onward despite the feeling and despite what your brain is trying to tell you? Thank you for the likes. Your brain is going to tell you, hey, this is not normal what you're doing. You need to go back to safety. When in reality, the safety that you've created for yourself is actually being hidden, not pursuing your dreams and your goals because you believe so heavily the what if thoughts. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if this don't work out? What if I go broke? What if I fail? What if everyone sees me try and I fail and I look so dumb? What if? That's a poor mindset. That's a poor mindset. Yes or no to what, Idris? In order to become a more intuitive individual, you have to push past the mind. You have to ignore the mind. I don't trust my mind. And I'm gonna tell you why, because my mind has been exposed to a lot of let's just say pain, right? A lot of betrayal in my life. So when I am now pursuing things that I'm not used to or things that are outside of my comfort zone, my mind is going to try to convince me that there's danger there. Like it's like a natural response because my brain has not been exposed to these new things that I've been doing. My brain will try to tell me to stop, or it will try to convince me that there's danger here. You're not safe here, right? You won't make it here. Go back into safety. When the safety that I built for myself got me nowhere for the past over 2 decades. So at some point, you have to override what your mind is telling you. That's where growth is. Everything you want is on the other side of saying no to your mind, of saying no to your limits, and saying, you know what, I am actually capable of more than what I think. So you really genuinely have to override your mind. Hello. Welcome in, y'all. So yeah, when you're starting to do things that you're not used to, your body's going to try to resist. That's not related to this live. So just because your body's telling you, hold on, this is too much, I need you to slow down, but your intuition is telling you to like go in this certain direction, but it doesn't make logical sense, just go with your, like, just understand that that's part of the process. That's part of the process. It's all part of the process. Intuition requires a level of faith on your part. And honestly, I'm being asked to do something so courageous in my life right now, and so like so it feels so unnatural to do it if I was to do it. My intuition is asking me to just take the leap of faith and go for it. And it's interesting because when you are an individual that values growth and evolution, you notice that you're constantly being put in positions that are uncomfortable as hell. Like genuinely uncomfortable feels like torment. But that's good because that means your goals are so freaking huge that it makes you sick to your stomach. And I need your goals to be that freaking big. I need your goals to be so big that it literally makes you nauseous just thinking about. Because what that's going to do is it's going to force you to go into overdrive. You're going to be pushing yourself past the limits that you've grown so used to, and you're going to create new limits for yourself. Your body's going to constantly feel tired. That is the cost of growth, evolution. You must ignore the limits that your body is trying to create for you. You must ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore it and keep following your spirit. You pray to God for answers, and God is answering you, but because God is asking you to do something that you logically deem as unrealistic or too scary or too hard or irrational, right? You try to rationalize what spirit is telling you to do when spirit does not operate off of logic or rationale. It operates off of spirit. That's one of the ways we keep ourselves stuck. We try to rationalize everything. So go out there, do what does not feel normal, do what you're not comfortable with, because that is how you're going to elevate. That is how you're going to excel. That is how you're going to achieve your dreams. What do you dream of? And look around you. Look around you. Do you have what you want? You want more. But the moment you start thinking of what is required of you to get to what you really want and what you really want to do, you stop, you freeze, you stop moving because it feels like it's too much. You convince yourself you're not capable. When deep inside you would not have this desire and this dream if it was not realistic for you. You would not have that dream and this ambition if your dream was not realistic for you in the first place. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? You would not have that dream or ambition if it was not already yours. Woo! Wow. That's a fact. That's a fact. Hello, Mario. You would not have that dream or ambition if it was not realistic for you. For a long time, y'all, I dreamed of, listen, and we're going to go into manifestation right now. I love manifestation. Hello, Umar. Omar Ali. Hello. But yeah, we're about to go into the topic of manifestation because I love this. Listen, when I was younger, I had my dad had flew us out to our home country. He intended for us to live there. My mom had to sell all her jewelry to bring us back here. Um, Once we got back, we were in Target, right? It was like the first week we got back. We were back home for a few years, like 2 years. And this is okay. Look, listen, just understand this is the concept of manifestation and what is required of you to manifest, right? Listen, we were in Target one day, and I've always been very, very spirit like, oh my God, like I've been able to see things before they happen in a sense, okay? It's the level of faith that determines whether or not you get the thing you manifest or not, right? Let me explain this to you. We were in Target one time, and I was like 8 years old or something like that. One second. We were in Target, and it was the summertime, and we're in California. So I was like, I had the idea because I was back home in like a Middle Eastern country. You know what I'm saying? It's not normal for you don't see women in. It's a California thing to expect to see like in the summertime, like summer clothing, right? Let's just say that, like, and I for some reason the thought in my head came up, and it was like, what if I just saw a girl with a bikini top and some shorts come in, right? Because it's like say she just got out of the pool, right? She just finished her little swimming or something. And this is like, how old was I? I was like 8 years old thinking like this. And we were still in the front entrance of Target. You know, my mom was still shopping around in the clothes section. And I held this thought. I'm like, yeah, like that's realistic to see in California, to see a woman come in with like a bikini top and like some shorts on because and some flip-flops on because it's California and it's hot. Like that's just what my little 8-year-old mind had in mind. Um and I kid you not, yo, this lady comes in and I look at the entrance and I'm like, this lady just came in, just walks in with a bikini top, nothing on but a bikini top and some jean shorts and flip flops, the same way I envisioned in my mind. And I told this guy, and I told someone this one time recently, this story, and he was like, "Yeah, but maybe it was just because it's California and it's hot, and it was the summertime." Like, are you serious? No, it was the exact visual that I saw in my mind before she even walked in. I saw the lady walk in before I even saw her physically. How does this tie into manifestation? Because it's that belief that it is realistic. It is realistic. You see what I'm getting at here? It is realistic for the thing you dream of, the thing you imagine, the thing you visualize to exist in the physical realm. It is realistic. And you must affirm that. You must believe it and you must even expect it, right? My 8-year-old mind had expected it, right? Like in a way I expected it because the environment made it, realistic. Even when your environment is not an environment in which what you dream of is meant to manifest in, trust that your environment will become the environment in which your manifestation shall manifest. And there was another time, I want to tell y'all another story. Please listen. This is oh my God. I don't usually talk about these things. Hold on though. One second. There was this one time, y'all, me and my uncles and my sister, we were in LA. We were in LA because we had gone down there to see the Final Fantasy like symphony, right? It was like, oh my God, let me look it up. It was like y'all know the video game Final Fantasy? Well, in LA they were having this concert of an orchestra playing the soundtrack from Final Fantasy, and I forget which one. It was a long time ago, like over 10 years ago, y'all. But we were in LA to see that live, and we did, and it was so beautiful. I really do love Final Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy. I grew up with it. I grew up watching my uncles play Final Fantasy, my older sister play Final Fantasy. So we go way back with that. But anyways, the point is we were in LA. LA. My little 10, 11-year-old, 13-year-old mind associates LA with like parties and luxury and all of that. Parties and luxury. And so it was either before or after the concert that me and my uncles and my older sister, we were sitting out somewhere, right? I think we had just had lunch or something. And it's crazy for me to freaking talk about because it's so insane how it happened and I can never understand it. It's just beautiful. Listen. And in my mind I was like, well, what if I just heard someone say, because listen, my little 12-year-old mind was associating LA with like parties. And coming from a very conservative like family, I was not exposed to like social gatherings like that. You know, that wasn't in my nature, that wasn't in my routine, that was not how I grew up. And so we were there, it was outside, and y'all, in my mind, I said, what if I just heard someone talk about like an after party, like something regarding an after party? Something regarding an after party. That's the thought that was in my mind that I was reflecting on. I'm like, yeah, that would be interesting, right? That would make sense because I'm in LA. That's exactly what was going through my mind. And I kid you not, these two grown men, oh my God, walking side by side. They walk past me, my uncles, and my older sister. One of them asked the other, so are you going to that after party tonight? And when I heard that, I'm like, what did I just hear? What did I just hear? Did I just hear that? Did I just hear the same thing I had envisioned in my mind and imagined in my mind? Did I just hear that? Yeah, I never talk about this. Oh my God, I never tell anyone about it. 'Cause I don't know how to explain it. How do you explain that type of coincidence? It's not even a coincidence. It's not even a coincidence. It's either that, oh my God, I don't understand it. I can someone explain that to me. Explain that. Like what? How is it that both instances, I imagine something happening and within the next few moments it happens? I see it. What is that called? I'm gonna Google that right now, actually. Let me Google that. Oh my God, what does it mean when I think of something and it happens a few moments later? Because that is exactly what happened, y'all. When you think of something and it happens shortly after, it's often attributed to coincidence, priming, or heightened awareness rather than precognition or psychic abilities. Oh my God. Hold on. Subconscious manifestation. Interesting. Subconscious manifestation. Some people believe that thinking about something can subconsciously influence events, leading to the occurrence of what was thought about. How do y'all explain that? How was it that I was in LA? I had the thought, my little 13-year-old mind had the thought that, wow, it would be like so on brand for me to hear someone talk about like an after party, right? That is so LA, after parties. Do you know what I'm saying? And then a few moments later, these two grown men walk past me, my uncles, and my sister. And one of them asked the other, so are you going to that after party later? Are you going to that after party tonight? And I just watched them walking away. Their backs are obviously turned. They're walking away. I'm like looking at them. I'm like, what? How did that just happen? And on top of that, a few years prior, I envisioned a woman with a bikini top and some shorts coming in, walking into Target because that's so on brand with California in the summertime, having just come back after being gone from California for 2 years, out of the country for 2 years. My little 8-year-old mind envisioned that. It was so realistic and on brand for me to see a woman with a bikini top and some shorts on and flip flops walk into Target right now during the summertime. And a few moments later, I looked towards the entrance, and there she is, a woman dressed in the same way I envisioned. What is the correlation between these two events? And how does it tie into intuition? How does it tie into manifestation? Let me tell y'all. The common theme between both of these events is that I, number one, Okay, RBH says intuition being hyper aware of your surroundings that you can predict future outcomes. Interesting theory. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that, but listen, the way it ties into manifestation for me in my mind is it's because I believed with certainty that number one, it was 100% realistic, 100% possible, 100% I could expect it. 100%. I held that belief in my body, in my soul, in my mind. And I affirmed that, yeah, that's realistic. That could totally happen, right? That could totally happen. Then it happens because you affirm with your whole body, your whole soul, with your whole mind, with your whole being that it is realistic, that it is possible, that it is already existing. Are y'all following? Are y'all following how you tie this into your manifestations? Are y'all tying this into how you can tie this into your manifestations? And y'all, I can't lie to you, but I'm in the process of seeing one of my manifestations come to life. And I can't talk too much about it because it's not fully, in place, but I done prayed about something a few weeks ago and I'm already seeing it come to life. Oh my god. But listen, another thing I manifested in my own life is my car. My freaking cute ass 98 Honda Civic with a sunroof, y'all. I've always wanted a car with a sunroof. I've always wanted a car with a sunroof. Always. I've always wanted a car with a sunroof because I love to drive. I love to just drive and drive and drive. And I love nature. I love being outside. I love the wind. So I would envision myself like having a sunroof. Listen, envision. Do you hear the word envision? That is what's required of you when you're manifesting things. You need to envision. You need to envision yourself in the manifestation itself. Oh. You need to envision yourself in the thing that you envision for yourself. You need to feel. What are you going to feel like when you have that thing? What are the feelings? And you need to grow emotionally attached to it. Welcome in, Mott. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That is what's required of you when you are manifesting. You must be able to envision yourself in the reality of it, right? That's what I did when I was manifesting a car, and it was unintentional, y'all. I manifested this thing unintentionally. I just envisioned myself. I just envisioned myself having a car with a sunroof and how it would make me feel, and I attached the feeling of excitement to it. Right? The universe operates off of emotions because emotions emit frequencies and energies, and the universe runs off of atoms, vibration, frequency, ripples, right? Understand that we are not just physical beings, we are energetical beings, vibrational beings. That's a good question. Can you manifest bad and evil things? Yes, but then that becomes black magic. Manifestation operates genuine, yes. To answer your question, yes, but then it's not it's not in tune with soul and spirit. It is not pure. It is not pure, right? Manifestation is supposed to the manifestation is to manifest, you must ensure that your manifestation is not going to harm another individual. And if it is, you must communicate or pray to God or put out into the universe, put out into the world that it must be in your highest favor. It must be in your divine right. It must be yours. It must be what's right for you, and it must be right for everyone that might be involved, right? Is that clear? And what do you mean by ultimate power? No, you cannot manifest God. You can't not manifest yourself to be God, if that's what you're asking. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you get it. But the way I manifested my car with my little sunroof, I just love it. My little sunroof, I love it. Yes, indeed, Brad Pitt. Always. No, just I don't know what you mean by that, Ma. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so in order to manifest something like I did with my car, like I did with my apartment, you must envision yourself in the manifestation itself. So what I did was I would envision myself like having a car with a sunroof, right? I would be driving, I envisioned myself looking up through the sunroof and seeing the stars, seeing the clouds. You must envision yourself. And that's the quickest way to get your manifestation to manifest if it is in God's will and if it is in your highest favor. And not long after, I bought my car with a sunroof. And I still have it and I love it. And I also manifested this apartment that I'm in. This apartment, I used to live in it when I was like very young, like 9, 10. And I've always liked it because of the amenities. Um, because of the apartment itself. I just loved it, right? So, hold on now. I gotta do this puzzle. So, as I grew older and as I was like living with my mom, so living in my family home was very toxic for me. So obviously I was like, I need a way out. I need a way out. I need a way out. And so I was getting counseling at the time. I asked my counselor, I'm like, hey, do you know of any like, housing opportunities, right? And she connected me with this program um, that was for like foster youth, but I'm not a foster youth, but they had a sub program, right? A part of it, it's like a portion of that program to get housing for young adults that were living in unhealthy and toxic households. So, and they also paid your rent for a period of time too. So, y'all, I put in an application, I got approved, and they released through a number of different apartments, right? Apartment like you know what I'm saying, right? Like the companies of apartments, right? They're releasing through several different kinds, different ones. And miraculously, y'all, I got the apartment that I used to live in as a 9-year old or 9 year old, and the one that I was dreaming of and saying so with so much like desire that I really wanted to move in. And I did. And I did, y'all. And I did because I held that desire from within me. Do you understand the pattern? Manifestation requires you to uphold the desire. You need to maintain in a state of desire consistently. You need to envision yourself consistently living in that manifestation the same way I did when I envisioned myself having a car that had a sunroof. And the same way I envisioned myself, because I would drive by these apartments like several times, and I would always glance at it and just kind of envision myself being able to park in the parking lot and come into my apartment. And that's exactly what ended up happening and manifesting because I held that vision in my mind, in my heart, and in my soul. That's honestly the key to manifestation. It's just holding the vision, holding the desire, and also expecting it, understanding that it is realistic and possible for you and that it's already on its way to you. That's all. Right? Just because you don't see it in the 3D realm does not mean that it's not coming together for you in your highest favor. Nuh-uh, that's not what it means. You must have more faith than that. Manifestation requires a lot of faith, y'all. The keys to manifestation. I'm gonna write that down. I love that. I love that. I think I'm gonna make a workbook on manifestation. I'm gonna include my own experiences with manifestation and the how to manifest. Excuse me. Include. I'm writing down notes, y'all. Include my stories of my car. my apartment. And I still don't know how to explain the two events that happened earlier in my life where I literally envisioned something happening or hearing something, and a few moments later it happened. Like, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to explain that. But what it does confirm is the key to manifestation, right? What's the key? It's just holding that vision. That's all it is, holding it. And then believing that it's possible. Not only believing that it's possible, but that it's realistic and then that it's likely to happen. That it's likely to exist and show itself. Those are the keys to manifestation. The same way I did with my car with a sunroof, the same way I did with this apartment. Just hold the vision and stay in the state of desire. I'm writing down notes because I'm gonna build this into a workbook, like a 10 to 15 page guideline of manifestation and how I manifested in my life. And yeah, welcome in, y'all. I'm so glad you're in here. I'm so glad you're coming in and tuning in. I'm having so much fun. What's your experience with manifestation and intuition? What's your experience? Hello, hello. Misguided laughter, welcome in. I love talking about those stories. About how I manifested stuff. Oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how to explain it. It's the universe. You just understand the laws of the universe, and then you just operate from a place of understanding these, and then upholding these through your actions and through your beliefs. I'm listening. What's up? What's up, George? Welcome in. Welcome in. We're talking about manifestation now, and what is required of you to detach from the 3D. Ooh, this workbook is going to be deep. I just am. I just am. Two. So yeah, y'all should subscribe to my newsletter so that you get notified when I drop the workbook. If y'all are in tune with manifestation, if you want to learn more about manifestation. Let's talk about it. Maintaining in the state of desire. That is what's required of you. You have to desire the thing that you want and not letting the 3D, right, convince you that it's not there, that it's not happening. Because once you start to doubt, you slow down the process immensely. Because your doubt and your fear kind of gets in the way of what God is trying to put together for you, what the universe is trying to move into form for you. Right? When you have more faith in the doubt rather than the belief and rather than the vision, you slow down your ability to manifest immensely. Immensely, y'all. Whew. What else was I talking about? What else was I saying? Manifestation. And you notice how each and every time I manifested stuff that I wanted, I took action. Like in regards to my apartment, I had to take action of advocating for myself, talking to the counselor that I used to have years ago, seeking help, seeking guidance, seeking clarity. I had to advocate for myself, right? You have to put yourself in positions to receive. You need to open the doors for yourself sometimes. That is what's required of you. I mean, it's not just that like it's going to come knocking on your door, the thing you've always wanted. It's not going to come knocking on your door most of the time. Oftentimes you'll have to go and seek it out. You'll have to go and seek out what you desire. You'll have to go out and put yourself in positions to receive the things you ask for. The same way I did when I asked for help finding housing, which is how I got connected to a program that housed young adults like myself at the time. That resonated heavily with my situation at the time, where I was able to leave my mom's home and move into my own place in the apartment that I dreamed of living in. And now I'm here and I've been here for years. And I've been here for years, y'all. You have to put yourself in positions to receive. You have to take advantage of the opportunities that are right in front of you, the resources that you have. And if you don't have resources, you go and get them. You go and get the resources that you need to succeed, to receive what you desire, what you dream of, what you want. You see what I'm saying? Let me write that down too. This is what's worked for me, right? This is the manifestation method that worked for me. But I mean, the principles maintain the same. The principles remain the same. The principles are things that don't change. I firmly believe that in order to manifest things and let it happen and give it a structure to manifest is your intuition is also required of you. Your ability to hear your intuition is important because your intuition is going to guide you to receive that thing. Right? The same way my intuition guided me to ask my counselor at the time if she has any connections for housing programs, anything to get out of my mom's house. Because it was becoming detrimental to my mental health, and it was for years. And I knew it was time to leave. And once I put myself out there, once I asked for help, right? Once I asked for guidance, my counselor did have a connection, and she connected me to a program that not only gave me the apartment that I dreamt of living in, but they were paying my rent too until the funding ended, obviously, and I had to take over the lease. But y'all, they were paying for my rent for a period of time. And I would not have received that blessing, and I would not have seen my dream come true of living in this apartment that I dreamt of if I did not put myself in the position to receive it. Okay? If I did not put myself in the position to receive it. When you are manifesting things, you're going to have to listen to your body, your spirit. What is it asking you to do? Where is it asking you to go? Your answers are within you. The roadmap is within you. Your only task is to learn how to listen and hear it. Because the power has always been within you. Okay? The power has always been within you. Always. You've always had the answer. So stop outsourcing your power and your answers. Stop. Stop outsourcing that your power. Stop outsourcing your power. Oh my God. Like, honestly, the power is within you. Understand that you have the means to curate, right? I want you to envision yourself chiseling away at a marble, rock, block. That is you. You are capable of that. You have that power. You have that power. You have the power. You're literally miraculous. Like, the same way you've been created, you have the power to create as well. Woo-wee. Woo-wee, y'all. Oh my goodness. Whew. Believe, trust and believe, trust and believe. I've done it myself, y'all. I've seen it myself. I've done it myself. Thank you for the likes. It's okay to smoke mid. Thank you. Thank you. You are so, you have every ability. You have all the tools, y'all. All the tools to build, to manifest, to create your dream life, y'all. This life of yours is your GTA. This is your sins, whether you know it or not. But the sooner you claim it, the sooner you believe it, the sooner you embody it, the sooner you start. Amen. Amen. Oh my God. Yes, heaven is but a thought away, y'all. As humans, we are able to create a life of beauty for ourselves. But you must envision it first and claim it as realistic for you and as possible for you. This is what I mean by you hold the power. It's just a decision away. It's one decision away. But unfortunately, a lot of us just feel that it is more realistic for us to continue living in poverty, to continue living in suffering. There's this lady, her name is Dolores. Let me get the name for y'all. I really want you to watch this video of hers. It's like a thank you for the follow. Let me get the video for y'all. I want you to watch it because she discusses manifestation and how it's the easiest thing. Money and physical things are the easiest things to manifest compared to like happiness, for example, right? Because you create your happiness, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot manifest inner happiness, right? That starts with you. You are responsible for that. But physical things, Dolores claims, are the easiest to manifest. So let me get the title of the video for you. Y'all need to watch it. 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 Hold on. Let me see. Oh, it's not on this account. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. But basically, she just talks about how physical things is the easiest thing to manifest. Money is the easiest thing to manifest. And y'all, listen, I manifested a certain amount by April 1st. And y'all, I've made a portion of it already. And I'm still expecting it. I have it as my wallpaper. You understand? When you're manifesting things, you need to be able to see it, visualize it, claim it as yours. Do that. Put a picture of something you really want and look at it every single day and be like, yeah, that's already mine. Yeah, that's mine already. Yeah, I love that I have this already. Yeah, I'm so grateful that I have this already. You see what I'm saying? Is this similar to Abraham Hicks? Honestly, I don't know who that is. Can you tell me who Abraham Hicks is, please? Whew. Y'all, if you want to create a manifestation plan for yourself, go book a free call or go book the 1 hour $555 call. So you can start building a manifestation plan and then start seeing it actually happen. I'm going to give you the toolkit to make it happen. The toolkit, step-by-step strategy. Oh, wait. My goodness. The same way I manifest, it's the same method I used to manifest my car with a sunroof, right? Keyword sunroof. I wanted a car with a sunroof. I got that. I got that. And I love I love my Honda. I love it. The same way I manifested this apartment that I live in, that I've always wanted to live in. The same way. Mm-hmm. All right, here's the video, y'all. Let me get it for you. It's called Manifesting. The video is called Manifesting and Creating Your Reality by Dolores Cannon. It's a really good video. It's 1 hour long. It's 1 hour long, and it's just about manifestation, right? And the requirements, what is required of you to receive. What is required of you, and what, how do you position yourself to receive your manifestations? Because it starts from within. You cannot disbelieve in the possibility of it and the reality of it from the inside and then expect to still see it happen physically, because that's not how it works. The reason why is because your inner world, your inner thoughts is saying, that's not realistic. That's not possible. That's not realistic. That's not possible. I don't expect it. Why isn't it here yet? Yes, Dolores Cannon. The video is called Manifesting and Creating Your Reality. My teachings are heavily based off of the teachings of Bob Proctor, who is the student of Neville Goddard, which I'm sure several of you have heard of. The teachings of Neville Goddard. He coined the term law of assumption. His teachings are heavily based off of the law of assumption. But my teachings are heavily based off of Bob Proctor. I just love his lectures. Y'all should watch his lectures. Bob Proctor. There's also a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. The Game of Life and How to Play It. I listened to the audiobook of it, and it honestly changed so much about me, y'all. Like, I learned that in order to, how do I say it? In order to if you dream of a life of, let's say, order, you must put your life in order. You must put your home in order, right? If you dream of a heavenly lifestyle, your life, the order in which you live your life must reflect that of heaven. And let me explain. Order, right? Order is required, right? Is everything in order within your home, within your mind, within the way you live your life? Are things in order? Do they have a structure? Does everything fit like a puzzle piece? Or is it like this, crumbly, crumble, 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 crumble? Because how do you expect flow and ease to come into your life when the life you've built is like this, out of order? Ooh, that's a word. You know what I'm saying? You must create a life of order. You must build it. You must welcome order by creating order first. Yeah, that's what I learned from The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it just goes really heavy into manifestation as well. The same topic, manifestation. And watch Bob Proctor's lectures. He teaches you a lot about the mind, the subconscious mind. A lot, y'all. You can only receive as you give. So I suppose that means you believe in the law of, what is that law? Karma? Or is it polarity? Let me see. No, it's not the law of polarity. It's the law of karma. Reciprocal action. The law of karma, a core concept in Indian religions, is essentially a principle of cause and effect, suggesting that our actions and intentions have consequences, shaping our future experiences. The law of karma posits that every action, thought, and intention creates a ripple effect leading to consequences both positive and negative for the individual. Well, doesn't that go hand in hand with law of assumption as well, which basically states that whatever you hold true in your mind is exactly what you see in the physical realm, in the 3D? Are they not? Are they not the same? To me, they sound similar, if not the same, between the law of karma and the law of assumption. Yeah. And it's interesting, I've thought about whether or not it could be true that I don't know about reincarnation. I don't know where I stand with that yet. I haven't created a like solid position on the concept of reincarnation. Not yet. But yeah, write that down, y'all. Watch the video. And I have in my own life, I have also heard of and seen evidence of like reincarnation, and I swear, like in my own family, I have. I just haven't educated myself on it enough, and I haven't like dived into it enough. But yeah, please do DM me. I'd love to learn. I'd love to learn. But make sure y'all are writing this down. The videos, "Manifesting and Creating Your Reality" by Dolores Cannon. Go and watch it. It's basically like a radio talk show between her and another lady. And then the audio book, it's also on YouTube, The Game of Life and How to Play It. It's a beautiful audiobook. I learned so much from it. These are these are a few of the videos that got me that opened the door for so much for me, right? It's when I finally surrendered to my truth, to what I've always known to be true, but because for a long time I wasn't able to like logically justify it or logically explain it, I avoided it, right? Because many of us want to be accepted by the majority, right? We want it's like the let me find the terms. Yes, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When we are prioritizing the love and belonging, we may often deny our truth because it goes against what the majority claims as normal or as justifiable, right? It's against societal norms. So often we will suppress our natural gifts, the gifts that come naturally to us. And for some of us, those are like very much spiritual, very much otherworldly. But because it is important to us that we are accepted and loved and validated and approved, and you know what I'm saying? Like we want community, we will often suppress those things about ourselves. But once I finally said enough was enough and I was done playing small and I was done acting like I didn't have these gifts, because I was creating a life of misery for myself by suppressing my gifts, by denying myself of these beautiful experiences, and by suppressing my natural person. Like my personality is very much deep. Like I'm a very deep and inquisitive person. But oftentimes I would suppress that around a lot of people because the people I was surrounded by were not on that level, right? They would react to my depth and my my desire to think deeply, question deeply, reflect deeply as too much. They just didn't understand it. So because I was surrounded by people that didn't understand it and didn't reciprocate that level of depth and that level of interest and understanding the root of things, I suppressed that from myself. Yeah, exactly. They claimed, yeah, like, yeah, it's like corny. Oh, like why are you acting like that? Why are you talking like that? Or like, oh, it's not that serious. It's not that deep. Like I can't tell you how many times I've heard that in my life. It's not that deep. You're just too sensitive. Like what? Instead of meeting my level of curiosity instead of being. So yeah, just take that as a sign. Sometimes we are surrounded by the wrong people, but please don't let your environment pull you out of your nature, your gift. Do not let your environment make you question your gifts, and do not let your environment suppress your gifts. Don't. Just remove yourself from the environment so that you can finally start expressing your gift, sharing your gift with the world and being celebrated for it. If you're not surrounded by people that celebrate you for your unique self, your unique gifts, your unique expression, please take that as a sign that you must exit despite the fear. Yeah, you're going to be afraid. You're going to be afraid to leave your family. You're going to be afraid to leave your home. You're going to be afraid to leave your town. You're going to be afraid to leave your partner, your friends. But deep inside, you know that what you want, what you need is on the other side of that fear. Faith, have faith, have faith. Take the leap and grow your wings on the way down. That's a quote. Let me find who said it. I believe his name is Reverend Ike, I want to say. And watching his video like really, really moved me. It really did. He said, take the leap. Let me just Google it real quick so I can confirm. I know, right? It is a freaking bar. My God, when I heard that, I'm like, that is literally, it is. It's Reverend Ike. He said, take the leap and grow your wings on the way down. Reverend Ike, he said, yeah, he said, leap. Oh, shoot. No, his name is Les Brown. Les Brown. He said, leap and grow your wings on the way down. Like, amen. Amen. Especially in the realm of entrepreneurship, y'all. When you are taking the leap, when you are betting on yourself, you are constantly putting yourself in positions of imperfection. It's a huge challenge for perfectionists, because you're forced, in order to grow, in order to continue moving forward, you are obligated to do things messy. Every step you take will be messy. Will you just surrender to that? Welcome, TJ, and welcome, Alan. Will you surrender to doing things messy and trusting in yourself that you're going to figure it out? Can you do that? So when I read that quote from Les Brown, leap and grow your wings on the way down, like, I heard that in the exact moment that I needed to hear it. Because at the time I was just paralyzed with fear, paralyzed with I did not know enough, or that, like, I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, the fear paralyzes you sometimes, and it makes you not move. It makes you stuck. It keeps you stuck. So take the leap, jump. You will never be ready. You understand that, right? If y'all are waiting to feel ready, you will never feel ready. You will never feel ready. Oh my God. That's the ultimate truth to life. Understand that you will never feel ready. You will never feel ready. You're just obligated to jump. Just jump and go. Go, 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 go. Do you have the courage to do that? Will you take that leap of faith for you? For yourself, will you take that leap? Because you have that feeling inside for a reason. I mean, like, what are you waiting for? Proof that it's going to work out? Because that's not how it works. You don't get proof that it's going to work out. You prove that to yourself by taking action. If you don't know what you're doing, it's because you're not taking any action, and you're stuck in analysis paralysis. The only way to know anything is by taking action and then figuring it out along the way. I mean, that's the fact of life. That is what's required of you. Taking that leap of faith. And hell yeah, it's scary. Hell yeah. But it is so rewarding to just radically believe in yourself, radically trust in yourself, and proving to yourself that you always had it in you to make it work. Always. Always. So what's going through y'all's mind? Do you have any questions? Ask me some questions, y'all. Yes, sir. Yes. That's the journey of life. It's just constantly betting on yourself and then deciding that you want more, and it's okay to want more. And when you want more, you're going to have to put yourself in positions to achieve more, which inevitably will require you to let go of things and people that don't align with where you're going. And this is where a lot of people get stuck because they're not ready to let go. I'm not ready to let go. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. You'll never be ready. Stop waiting to be ready. You're slowing down your journey. You're slowing down your path. You're slowing it down. You're slowing down what's meant for you to come to you. If you know what must be done, you do it. You do it from a place of love, of self-love. You will have to love yourself enough to do it. Despite the fear. Despite the fear. Despite the fear. So is there anything in your life where you know you have to do something, but fear is stopping you? Put it in the chat if you know that you must be doing, if that you must do something, you must move in a particular direction, but there's something holding you back. And what is it? Lay it out. Just lay it out. What is it? What is stopping you from taking that next step forward? What is the fear telling you? Yeah, tell me. Tell me, is there anything that is there a direction in life where you know you should be heading in, or that you know is meant in a direction in your life that is going to open many doors for you? You feel it inside. And what's stopping you from taking that next step? Put it in the chat, y'all. I'm very curious where y'all are at. Do y'all like sound bowls? I have a sound bowl that I got as a gift many years ago. Fear of what? Hello, DeMarcus. Fear of what, though? And what are you being called to do? In what direction are you being called to move in? Because a lot of us know what we have to do. A lot of us know which direction we're being pulled in, but the fear is much louder than the faith. We have more faith in the doubt than the vision. And that's what keeps a lot of us stuck. And that's what keeps a lot of us stuck in anxiety, and sadness, and questioning why we're still here, stuck in this place. I know I've been there. And at some point I had to realize I was creating that suffering to myself for myself. Right? I wouldn't take responsibility over my thoughts that were creating my misery. And I would constantly point the finger externally instead of reflecting and realizing, hold on, I'm the one that is not taking responsibility over these thoughts that I'm having. I'm the one. So you say you're afraid of rejection, of other people's opinions or comments, and the fear of something new. Well, what are you being pulled towards is the question. What is it that you have to do that you feel afraid of doing? But for a long time, I was keeping myself stuck. I was out of the situation in which I had to be. I was in survival mode. I was out of that situation already, right? I moved out of my mom's home where I was constantly being put in survival mode, right? I had to defend myself, right? You're constantly in defensive mode. Once I moved out of my mom's home, my family's home, and on my own, I realized I was still operating on the mindset that I had when I was still living there, right? So the survival mode, right? The victim, the helplessness, even though I was now out on my own. So I failed to be present. I failed to acknowledge where I was, what I achieved. I'm out, right? I'm out. But why am I still operating on this programming that says you're a victim, that says you're this or you're that? And so once I took radical responsibility over my thoughts and the things that were happening in my life, everything shifted. Everything shifted. Everything. Everything. It's just like a whole energy shift. I got brave enough to bet on myself. Brave enough to acknowledge the fear and move through it. Move through with what I desired because I decided I was worth it. I was worth the risk. I was worth taking that risk. I was worth betting on myself. Even though I might fail, I don't care. You have to stop caring about failing and care more about getting to your destination. Understand that failure, right? It looks like failure, but it's really not. It's not failure. It's just a hiccup. It's just an oopsie. You get up and you keep going because you're worth it. You can't be so weak to where an obstacle stops you in your tracks and you go back to sadness and fear and whatever else. No, you can't be that weak anymore. You can't. Your life is dependent on you. Your life is dependent on you now. When will you take responsibility and detach from your emotions? Detach from your emotions. That is what's required of you. To jump timelines, as they call it, right? To create a new reality for yourself. You must detach yourself from your emotions because as you start following your intuition is going to guide you onto a path. Your intuition is going to guide you onto a path that requires you to step out of your comfort zone over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. And over and over again, you're going to have to say that, yeah, I'm still worth it. Yes, I still want this. Yes, this feels scary as hell. Yes, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I trust the process. You have to be able to look past the 3D. You have to be able to see past the 3D. I need your faith to get to that level of operating from a place of spirit and faith, and that's it. You're going to be afraid and you're going to do it anyways. You're going to trust the process because you're worth it. You're going to take the leap of faith because you know that God got you. Because you know that God wouldn't be putting this in your heart to move in this direction for no reason. You understand that? Like, hello, you have that feeling in your spirit for a reason. You really think God's going to abandon you after he put this assignment onto you? That's not how it works. That's how it works. Especially as business owners, as entrepreneurs, y'all. This for me is a divine assignment, y'all. It was just dropped onto me like, boom, Miriam, go here, boom. I said, okay. No one in my family is entrepreneurs, by the way. No one. No one has their own business in my family. No one. I'm the first to do this. The only support I have, the only guidance I have is from my coach that I hired and the community of women that I've immersed myself in. You must constantly hold the vision in your mind. Hold the vision in your mind. Have full faith that this is where you're meant to be, despite the fear and despite the feeling of uncertainty. Because when you're fulfilling your divine assignment, it's not going to make sense logically. No, it's not. It's not supposed to make sense logically, because otherwise you'd be operating from a place of low faith. But you have faith. You have to have faith. You have no option but to have faith and trust the process. Blindly, like blindly. Do I see the other side of this? No, not really. I know the feeling it's going to give me, though. It's going to give me a sense of fulfillment because I finally surrendered and accepted this assignment of mine and bet on myself. I finally did it. I finally let go of the fear and said, you know what? I'm worth it. I can do it. I've proven to myself over and over again that I can do hard things on my own. On my own. Like, give yourself credit. Can you just reflect on everything you've been through, everything you overcome? And this thing that you're afraid of, let's be logical for a minute. You don't think you have the means of figuring it out? Logically speaking, after everything you've survived? It's just silly. It's more unrealistic for you to fail than it is unrealistic for you to succeed. That's a bar. That's a word. It's more unrealistic for you to fail than it is for you to succeed. Let me write that down. My pen fell down. So bet on yourself and prove to yourself that you've always been capable. And it was so silly of you for you to be stuck in fear. That was silly. You're gonna get to a point where you're like, that was silly for that. That was silly. it's more unrealistic for you to fail than it is for you to succeed. So basically what I mean by that, it's more unrealistic for you to fail than it is for you to succeed. What I mean by that is you're more likely to succeed, right? You're more likely to make it happen. Especially when you put yourself in positions where you have no other option. And I'm dealing with this heavily, like in real time. I'm being asked to do something that's so scary. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's when you're being asked to do something that doesn't make logical sense, I don't think the fear ever goes away, but the principle remains the same. And it's that you have to have faith that you're gonna make it out, that you're gonna be fine when you take that leap of faith. Just like Les Brown said, like I told y'all, you take the leap and you grow your wings on the way down. That's why the 1% is the 1%, because they constantly said yes to themselves and they constantly bet on themselves despite the fear. You don't think as humans we all deal with fear? Some of us are just braver than others. Some of us are just braver than others. Some of us have more courage than others. That's the only difference between you and that next person that has everything you dream of. Because they put themselves in positions to receive the things they dream of. They actively seek it out. They don't just pray for it, sit down and wait for it to knock on their door. Hello, I'm here. That's not how things work. You pray for things, you ask God for things, you open yourself up to receiving the answers. You get the answer through your intuition, right? Your ideas, your intuitive notions. Your body's going to give you signs and signals when something is right for you, when something is not. But your ego, your inflated ego, thinks it knows better than what's true. So you refuse the answers. You refuse it. So don't go yelling at God, be like, why this, why that, why this? Well, hello, God gave you the answer and you refused it. You refused it. You denied it because it didn't make sense to you logically. Spirit is going to guide you to do things that don't make logical sense. It's your duty to answer, to say okay, to surrender. We slow ourselves down when we try to make logical and rational sense out of everything. We slow ourselves down. We block our own blessings sometimes when we do that. I mean, like, how many opportunities have you missed because you convinced yourself that you weren't ready for it? You weren't ready to take the leap. How many opportunities have you missed? Right? We are all we all are in this thing of conscious, what do they call it? Conscious awareness, conscious community consciousness. What are they called? What is it called, y'all? Conscious. We're all. Can someone give me the term? I'm blanking. It's like it's not community conscious. It's like what is it called? Collective consciousness. That's what it's called. We all are in this thing of collective consciousness, right? So you pray for things, you pray for ideas, you pray for whatever, you get the idea, and then you try to rationalize it. Well, it doesn't make sense because I don't have the money for it. Well, it doesn't make sense because I'm doing this right now. Oh, and then there goes another person who got that same idea and committed, despite the fact that it didn't make logical sense. Oh, there you go. Your opportunity is missed. God gave it to someone else now because you refused to take that on as your assignment. Because you refused. Because you refused. Y'all are awfully quiet. Are y'all receiving the message? Are y'all hearing me? Let me know where you're at mentally. We all share this thing of collective consciousness, and this is what Google defines it as. Collective consciousness. That's good, DeMarcus. I'm glad. Take it all in and reflect and implement it. If you feel called to it, then take that as a sign of confirmation that it aligns with you and your path. I mean, that's how I perceive things. It's like when something deeply resonates with me, I know that it's what I need. I know that it aligns with what I need in that moment. And I know that it's like my answer. So Google defines collective consciousness as a concept that describes, no, I'm not, that describes the shared beliefs, values, and norms that bind people together within a community. Hold on, what? Collective consciousness is a concept that describes the shared beliefs, values. No, that's not how I perceive collective consciousness. The way I believe it is like it's like a spiritual thingy. It's like above us. It's where thought energy is, right? We're always like, right? There's thought energy everywhere. There's thought energy everywhere. And we all share what do we call it? The access to it. We all have access to it. Some of us are more in tune than others, and some of us are not because we're so immersed in this worldly life. But if you're naturally sensitive or if you're a creative individual, you get all of these creative ideas from God. Why? Because God is the ultimate creator. God is the ultimate creator, y'all. So if you come from the ultimate creator, don't you think that you also have the same power to create as well? You have that same power and ability to create as well. Create your own life, build your own life. But you have to believe that you can. You have to believe that you can. You have to believe that it is realistic for you. You have to believe that it is realistic for you and that it is possible for you and that you genuinely can create your own life. And when you start to envision that, I need to ask, what is the first feeling that comes up? Is it that that's unrealistic? Is it that it's not possible for you? When I say that you genuinely can create the life that you dream of, what comes up for you? Is it that it's not realistic? Is it that it's too hard, that you're not capable? I love the sound bowl. What comes up, y'all? When you imagine yourself actually building the life that you dream of, what comes up? Can you hear the frequency of that? Can y'all hear that? I can go to sleep to that. Do you, in your heart and soul, do you believe that you can create anything that you dream of? I need answers. What comes up? For me, I'm like, yeah. But once you embody that, oh my God, like the universe, God is gonna meet you with so many trials to test your faith. You understand that? You're gonna be met with several trials that test your level of faith. Like, how committed are you to this new way of living and being? How committed are you? How committed are you? You're gonna be met with several challenges, trials to test your level of faith. That's fun. So how ready are you to commit? How ready are you to change your life? It starts in your head. It starts in your beliefs. It starts in how you perceive yourself. It starts with your self-concept. That's where it starts. So you can't expect your life to change, and you can't expect opportunities to come to you. Opportunities that are going to give you the life that you really dream of if, number one, you don't believe it's possible for you. If you have doubts, if you're more doubtful than you are faithful and believing of the fact that it is realistic and possible for you, that's exactly what gets manifested, because your subconscious holds that belief of limitation and of lack. Therefore, ultimately, that is what you get. That is what is created in your life. Because your thoughts are based off of thought energy and they run on frequencies. So if subconsciously you're giving off the frequency and the energy and the vibration of like lack, scarcity, that's what you're going to get. It's the law of assumption. This universe is ran off of vibration and energy. Do y'all understand that? Do y'all understand that for real? Are y'all still here? What do you need to hear right now? What is it that's stopping you from taking that next step forward? What are you afraid of? What is the real question? What are you afraid of? You have dreams and ambitions, but what is stopping you from like taking the first step into making that a reality for yourself instead of keeping it in here, right? Keeping it as a dream. What's stopping you from making that a reality for yourself? What is it, y'all? Hey, Adam. What are you afraid of? What's up? We're talking about manifestation and what is required of you to genuinely manifest. Like in my life, I have been able to manifest a few things. Manifested my car with a sunroof. I love sunroofs. Right? And how did I do that? Because I maintained that vision in my mind, right? That's the basics of manifestation. Can you hold the vision in your mind, and can you maintain in the state of desire? Can you like envision that it's realistic for you, first of all? Can you envision yourself in the vision, right? I had to envision myself, yeah, with the sunroof. I like to go driving. I like to look up at the stars. I like to feel the wind on my face. You have to envision yourself in that position, in the state of having that manifestation, right? You got to envision yourself there. If you envision yourself if you manifest a car, you got to envision yourself having that car. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What does it look like? Does it run? You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually I'm going to do it. I'm building this like what do I call it? Maybe like a pamphlet or a little workbook on the basics of manifestation. Not only the basics, but how to create a structure for yourself and what is required of you to ensure that manifestation happens. And then also, are you willing to surrender to the path that is required for you to get there? Because sometimes God will take you on several different paths, right? And it'll look like you're maybe like running in circles, but in reality, you just have to experience what you had to experience in order to get yourself in proper position to receive that manifestation. You see? The same way I manifested my apartment. I drove by it often. I envisioned myself being able to park in the parking lot, walking up to my apartment door. I envisioned myself using all of the amenities. That's the art of manifestation. How long can you hold a vision? And how willing are you to listen to intuition? Because it's going to guide you onto the path to receive that manifestation. For me, the way I got my apartment was, and it was so, y'all, it's so amazing how God will do things for you. And I don't like to say the universe because the universe is God's creation. So I'm not going to give credit to the universe. I'm going to give credit to God. So God will do things for you that are in your highest favor in ways that you don't expect. Like your stream is acting. What do you mean it's acting up, Adam? Am I lagging? Am I lagging? Oh my God. Am I really? Am I still lagging? I don't know what to do about that. I think it's because the Wi-Fi in my room is very sketchy. The Wi-Fi in my room is very sketchy. I think it's because my room is the farthest away from the router. Welcome back. It's okay to smoke mid. Hey. I'm glad you came back. That's awesome. So Adam, are you saying my video is frozen? But you can hear me? Let me see if I can put myself on on Okay, good. I'm glad. But yeah, it's a test of faith. Like, how long can you hold the vision of you? No, I wasn't even on that topic. I listened to my intuition, y'all. I had to get out of my mom's home. It was toxic for me, right? And I knew that if I was to move forward in my life, I had to get out of there. I had to get out of my mom's home, my family home. I had to get out. So I was like, well, what resources do I have right now? Okay, well, I was getting counseling at the time. I asked my counselor, hey, do you have any connections to any sort of like housing? She connected me with this program that was originally for foster youth. I'm not a foster youth, but they also had a program in the same, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like two programs with the same funding for young adults that were coming out of like toxic households and stuff like that. That was my situation. So I applied, they interviewed me, I got accepted. And coincidentally, y'all, like it's like God's work. It's like God's work. But if I didn't put myself in the position to receive this blessing, I would not be here. So understand this. Look, the program we're leasing through multiple different apartment companies. Now, how was I placed in the apartment that I dreamed of being, that I heavily desired to be in? And they were paying my rent for a period of time. They were paying my rent for months until the funding got cut. So I had to take over the lease on my own. Like, how did that happen? Because I constantly held the vision and the desire to be in this apartment. And I prayed about it. And not only did I pray about it, but I took aligned action. I used the resources that I had. And I'm going to get to y'all's comments real quick in a second. But I used the resources that I had. I had a resource. I had a connection. You have to use your resources. You have to take aligned action. You have to put in an effort to receive the things you ask for. And listen to your heart and your intuition. It's going to guide you to where you must be to receive that thing. No, I don't meditate every day. I don't. Ideally, I would. But not right now. My ideal self does. Now that got me asking myself, why don't I meditate every day? I don't make the time for it. That's all. I don't make the time out of my day to do that. Adam says, I always ask questions to my sister when I need help. Well, that's good. I'm glad you use your resources in that way. I didn't see the eclipse. I did not see the eclipse. Was there an eclipse? My mom told me there was going to be an eclipse. I didn't go out to see it. Dang. Partial eclipse. Was it of the moon? Because no, I didn't see nothing. Let me see. Because I think it depends on... I'm looking it up right now. No, I didn't go out to see it. I thought it was going to be eclipse because I wanted to take pictures. Well, did you see anything from where you were at? I've been on this live for 2 hours, y'all. Because we're having good conversations, that's why. Good conversation. Yeah, no, I didn't see none of it. I didn't even intend to go see it. I just didn't. It wasn't a priority of mine. But there's pictures. The moon. Yeah. Nope, it was not clear, unfortunately, but I did hear on the news. Yeah. Me too. I just heard it from word of mouth. That's amazing. I don't know. That's amazing. It's beautiful how these things happen, and they're so much bigger than us. And like at the same time, like that goes into my next point. Like there's so much beauty and miraculous things in the world. Like nature itself is miraculous. Like I can see myself in nature so heavily, right? Like look at your thumbprint. Welcome, Mauricio. Look at your thumbprint. Look at your thumbprint like right now and compare it to a tree stump when it's cut in half. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? How do you explain that? Is that not a miracle in itself? Does that not seem intentional in itself? I'm doing very well, Marie, so thank you for asking. Very well. I was going to report it for Benny to link because I'm news reporter. That's freaking awesome. I love that. Did you report it? And then also, y'all, compare your lungs, capillaries. Do y'all know what capillaries look like in your lungs? They're very, very thin blood vessels, and they're responsible for carrying oxygen throughout your lung. Right? I wish I could pull up an image for y'all. But they basically look like a bunch of they look like nerves. You know how nerve endings look like? They're just all sprawled out and stuff like that. Well, compare that to a tree. You see how a tree's branches goes like this? It's in the same squiggly lines as your capillaries, as your nerve endings. Do you see the similarities between us and nature? So, how is it that you yourself are not a part of the magic of this world? Of, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. How can you claim that you are not capable of doing miraculous things in your life, of building a miraculous heavenly life with your own two hands, with God on your side? What do you mean by that? Just as a fractal. What do you mean by that? I'm gonna have to get off y'all soon. Any last thoughts? Share with the class. Any last thoughts, revelations, epiphanies, breakthroughs? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Yeah, please do. I'd love to hear more about your understanding of reincarnation and all that. I have a lot of stories. My dad's told me a lot of stories about in his own family reincarnation, about his own father reincarnating, because the proof was this child was born into another family, somehow related to my dad's, immediate family, immediate relatives. And this child that was only a few years old was able to claim he claimed that he was who he was, and he was able to demonstrate to the family where his bedroom used to be. And the bedroom was my grandfather's bedroom. Like, what do you have to say about that? I don't know. I've never heard of anything like that before. And also other times with my dad's friends and stuff like that. Yeah, isn't that insane? And it was just so surprising to me. So surprising. And there's multiple other stories that I'm just thinking of, but they're just kind of like sad. So I'd rather not. Like, for example, like I can't remember the exact details, but I just know that there's this woman. It might have been his aunt or someone. Her son or neighbor. Her son had. I think he'd been gone for years, disappeared for years. He ended up having been passed away, but they didn't know. I think he was kidnapped. I think he was kidnapped is what happened, because when you live in a region of the, there was one kid who remembered his children by name and address. Like, how do you explain that? How do you really explain that? How do you explain that stuff? Like, when children are able to, when children claim to have done something, or have, because my uncle, when he was younger, he used to like imitate being shot in the head. Or he used to say that he was shot in the head when he was a child, like in the forehead. When he was a child, he would say that. And so there's a theory that in his previous life, before he was put into this vessel in this current lifetime, that's how he passed in his previous lifetime, in the previous vessel that he was in. And his soul was then moved onto this vessel here. That's interesting. Now that gets me to think about like I want to say fate of some people, you know. Maybe I mean that's where this concept comes into. It's the karma, right? A lot of us question, well, why did this child deserve this to happen to them? Why did this deserve this to happen to them? We don't have the answers, right? Because we're living on this realm of not only 3D. It's not only 3D here. We're living, this is a spiritual realm as well, right? There are several different realms operating at once, at the same time. So a lot of us fail to understand that. And so we get stuck in the loops of asking questions. Why? Well, what if we just surrendered? Because all of these questions we're asking why about are out of our control. I mean, I understand surrendering is hard. So to surrender is hard, right? We want answers because we need answers to feel, to have closure. We seek closure naturally. We naturally seek closure. So it makes sense why we seek answers. We want it. We want to know, well, why did why did this child deserve this to happen to them? Well, why did this mother deserve this for this to happen to her? Well, I can't tell you that. I don't know why. All we know is that it's happening, right? And if the law of karma is real, then maybe it is real. Maybe that's why, you know? Maybe. Are we ready to surrender to that? No, because because it feels unfair. Yeah, it is unfair. Yeah, it is unfair. Now, are we ready to surrender to that truth that life is unfair? Or are we going to keep fighting and drain ourselves of our own life energy by questioning why? We don't have to question why. We don't. But we put ourselves through these cycles because we want to make sense of everything. Because we feel the most in control when we are able to justify something. That's why we're seeking control. Because it drives us crazy to not have control. Facts or not. Facts. Right? We seek control. That's why it's hard for us to surrender. That's why it's hard for us to surrender. We want to know why. Well, why did this person deserve this? Why did I deserve to go through this? Babe, you didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it. And I have no answer for you as to why it happened. All we know is that it happened. And all I know is what we have now. What do you have now? Are you willing and ready to move forward? Are you willing and ready to understand that there may never be an answer that's satisfying to you? There may never be an answer that is good enough for you. Right? There may never be an answer that gives you the closure you're looking for. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep yourself stuck in these cycles of asking why? Or are you just going to surrender and accept that and take the L? Right? That's the simplest way to say it. Can you surrender and take the L? Can you just surrender and accept what happened? As hard as it is, I'm not saying that it's easy at all. It's not easy. A lot of us are holding a lot of pain and trauma within our bodies. And I'm not asking you to rush the process of healing, but at some point you have to say, you know what? I'm over it. I want to be over it, right? Maybe you're not over it, but you want to be over it. Because you want to be over it, you decide to be over it. And that's where the real healing begins, when you finally say, I want to be over it and I'm willing to accept this and move on with my life, because I deserve more than keeping myself and my life stuck repeating the trauma in my head and in my body, because you're torturing yourself. You're continuing to give that person power. You're continuing to give them permission to be in your life, right? They're living in your head rent free, as they say. So, am I lagging? Are you guys hearing? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I don't know why I'm lagging. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm in the corner of the house and I'm the furthest away from the Wi-Fi router, so I'm lagging. But yeah, y'all. I feel good. I feel good with what we talked about today. We talked a lot. We started with fear, right? A lot of us know what we have to do, but we're stuck in fear. What else did we talk about, y'all? I'm tired and I'm hungry. Very low on energy right now. I'm gonna have to go eat. Talk about fear, taking that leap of faith. Take the leap and grow your wings on the way down. Manifestation. Hello, Ismail. I was just about to hop off this live. We covered a lot. Yes, manifestations. Yes. The law of assumption. The law of karma. I'm so glad that y'all stuck around for so long. Like, I'm genuinely grateful that y'all are here and listening and tuned in. I genuinely hope that you got some greatness out of this live. Share with me some of your takeaways. What are you going to take away from today's live? And my plan is to be on tomorrow again. Probably around the same time. Let me see what's on my calendar. I'm doing so well. How are you? Yeah, Dolores Cannon. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Dolores Cannon is awesome. Bob Proctor. Neville Goddard. Do I really have 333 followers? Yeah, look up Bob Proctor and look up his lectures on YouTube. They're beautiful, genuinely beautiful. You know, they get you thinking. And I have his book as well. Let me whip it out. Hold on. It's called You Were Born Rich. You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Let's read the back, shall we? Are you ready to cash in on the riches inside of you? Bob Proctor's international bestseller, You Were Born Rich, guides you through all the major principles you must understand in order to unlock the vast wealth of potential buried inside of you. You will learn what money is and how you can attract more of it, how to become the co-creator of your own destiny, the role of faith in your success, which I'm always preaching. Faith is required on this journey of dreaming big. Whatever dreams you have, you must have faith. Moving on. How to build prosperous images in your mind that translate into magnificent results in your life. The keys to bringing abundance into your life, the law of attraction, and why some people keep attracting negative results and others always seem to attract positive results. The method for developing the razor's edge that will allow you to become a champion. And lastly, the vacuum law of prosperity, why you must release the old to make room for the new. Amen. You have to release all of your limiting beliefs that's kept you stuck this whole time in your life. You have to, right? If you're expecting more from life, thank you for the follow, Enzo. Thank you for being here. If you're expecting more from life, right, more than what you ever had, you have to let go of everything that you've thought of and believed in that's brought you here, right? Now you want more, so therefore you must let go of what the beliefs that kept you down here, right? You have to let go of those in order to make room for what's going to propel you forward and upward. Do y'all want me to read to you? Do y'all want me to read to you? Yes or no? Book club right now on live. Book club. Do y'all want me to read? Okay. I got one yes. That's good enough for me. Well, all right. Let's start. This chapter is called How Much Is Enough? I'm going to start right here. Bloom. Welcome. Bloom where you are planted. Start now. And stop me anytime you have questions. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. We're here to learn and we're here to propel ourselves forward in life, okay? We're not here to stay small, right? You have these dreams and ambitions, so get ready to learn and implement immediately. I need you to implement by tonight. Every new concept you learn, I need you to implement it, right? If you're serious about growth, if you're serious about yourself and serious about building a future of your dreams, you learn things and you implement what you learn. You don't just stay stuck in the I know. You do, okay? So, bloom where you are planted and start now. When do you start to live this good life? Is that the question you're beginning to ask yourself? You start now. Start by answering the following questions. How often do you pay your phone bill? How often do you pay your rent or mortgage? How often do you pay your grocery store? How often do you pay for gas for your car? How often do you pay your doctor? How often do you pay yourself? That last question seems like a strange one, doesn't it? But do you realize that less than 5 people in every 100 ever pay themselves? And if you were to ask the other 95 why they don't, they would probably tell you that by the time they pay everyone else, there's nothing left for themselves. Clearly, those 4 or 5 people in every 100 who do pay themselves have found a way around this problem. Although the idea which they are employing has been around for centuries, hardly anyone today is aware of it. What is that idea, you ask? Simply put, it is this. They pay themselves first. This is better known as the Babylonian law of financial success. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. If you think about it, you must admit that this law or principle makes a lot of good sense. Therefore, let me repeat it. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. More specifically, what you earn Monday morning is yours to keep. So it should go directly into a special account that you do not have easy access to. Your financial independence account. What you earn on Monday morning probably represents 10% of your income. Therefore, you should pay yourself at least that 10% right off the top, as in not after everyone else has been paid. From your financial independence account, you first pay your insurance premium because that instrument creates your instant estate. The remainder of the money then goes into savings until such time as you have accumulated enough capital to make a wise investment. That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. Remember, you do not touch this account or the interest it will yield. Therefore, within a very short period of time, you will witness sufficient progress to gain the motivation and inspiration which you need to continue. Moreover, the knowledge that you have an instant estate, if anything should happen to you, will give you additional serenity of mind. This is financial understanding, y'all, financial literacy. This title is called Orderly Debt Repayment Program. You could already have debts that seem to be eating up your entire paycheck, leaving nothing for yourself. But understand this, these debts can be retired. Although the amount of debt you have incurred will, of course, determine the length of time it will take you to clear the slate. And for the purpose of the following discussion, you must consider your mortgage or house payment, probably one of your largest monthly payments, as an investment, not a debt. That's interesting. He's asking you to shift your mindset about your bills in regards to your mortgage or house payment. Bob Proctor is saying to perceive it as an investment and not a debt. That's interesting. Okay, next subject line. Debt clearance account. Whatever money you earn Monday afternoon and Tuesday morning should go directly into your debt clearance account. This represents 20% of your income. You should also sit down and draft a letter which you will send to all your creditors, advising them of your plan. However, before you mail the letter, you should first draw up a list of your creditors to determine what proportion of this 20% each of them would receive. It could conceivably be more money than they are presently receiving, or it could be less. But whichever way it works out, that will be the sum of the money they will each receive. Nevertheless, whatever sum they do receive, they will receive it regularly on the stipulated dates. Are y'all understanding so far? Any questions? If you have debt, you create an account where you put a portion of your money into it to use to pay off your debts. And then he's saying to write a letter to all of your debt collectors, whoever you owe money to, write a letter of your plan. Write a letter of your plan to pay off this debt. How much they can expect from you on a monthly basis, on a regular basis, whatever consistent basis. Okay? Now we move on. Hold on. All right. The following is a sample letter you could use as a guide in drafting your own letter. Dear whomever, as you know, I am in debt to you for blank amount of dollars, and I intend to pay you in full, plus interest. In order to achieve this goal, I have been devising a plan during the past few days. I'm not going to read this all. It's just a letter to his debt collectors. Moving forward, understand that your letter to your creditor is a statement of fact and not a request. It is you who is in charge of your finances, not your creditors. Amen. Amen. Be sure to have your letters neatly typed and enclose your first new payment with your covering letter. Realize there is an outside chance that some unreasonable person will not want to cooperate with you. They might even go so far as to phone you and attempt to intimidate you with threats of taking you to court, etc. But please hold your ground, because there is no court in the country that would not congratulate you when you explained your entire plan for financial independence. Moreover, you will find that 95% of the people to whom you write will be most cooperative. Now give yourself a good pat on the back, because as of this moment, you are well on your way to starting a completely new way of life. And that's beautiful. Not only is this chapter providing you with hope of clearing your debts and living a new, refreshed life without debt, but it's also giving you a game plan, an action plan. That's freaking beautiful, y'all. Right? That's also the benefit of coaching. Let's briefly review what you have accomplished thus far. Coaching only works, by the way, if you're going to implement, right? I don't need you to come into my space talking about your trauma only to not take action, right? You got to be an action taker, and you got to want more for yourself and genuinely willing to put in the work. Moving forward, let's briefly review what you've accomplished thus far. You have an instant estate if anything should happen to you. You have a savings account. You are paying yourself. You have an orderly debt repayment program. You have 70% of your income to live on, to run the house, and for entertainment. Your mind is clear to carry on with the big ideas coming your way in the remainder of the book. From this moment on, never think debt again. Remember that all has been taken care of. So just focus on your savings account and watch it grow. Here's an affirmation, y'all. Get ready to write this down. Repeat. I am wealthy. Money is good, and I use money, and I love people. Notice how he phrases it. I love people, and I use money, right? Why does he phrase it that way? He phrases it that way because some people love money and use people. You see what I'm saying? Affirmation, I am wealthy, money is good, and I use money, and I love people. Amen. Feel it with your whole heart. Say it with your whole chest. Metaphorically speaking, getting your present finances in order is very similar to having your automobile tuned up for a journey which you are about to take. Realize that as of this moment, you are tuned up for your journey. And although you might only be earning X number of dollars per year, presently, you must see yourself. This is Bob Proctor, y'all. This is where I get my teachings from. You must see yourself, despite how much money you're making right now per year. You must see yourself on the screen of your mind already earning the new annual income which you have calculated you need to buy the things you want in order to live the life you choose to live. Right? Visualization. You must visualize yourself living this new way of life, this new way of being. You must visualize yourself already there. I'm going to underline that. I'm going to repeat that last sentence as well. You must see yourself on the screen of your mind already earning the new annual income which you have calculated you need to buy the things you want. Are y'all still here? Are y'all still listening? Write in the chat if you're still here, listening, tuned in, and learning. You must see yourself on the screen of your mind already earning the new annual income which you have calculated you need to buy the things you want in order to live the way you choose to live. Are y'all still here? I need to know if I'm lagging or not, y'all. Hello, Anna. Am I lagging? Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me if I'm lagging or not? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me and can you see me? Okay. If you are seriously interested in becoming financially independent and you have not yet acted on the preceding ideas, I would strongly recommend you do so now. For to continue on to the next chapter without having done so would be comparable to leaving on your journey with your car firing on only half its cylinders. You can be almost certain that your automobile will break down, preventing you from reaching your desired destination. But by making certain that everything is properly tuned up, you can relax and adopt a calm, serene attitude, knowing that you will get to your destination and you will certainly be able to enjoy the scenery along the way. Woo! That's manifestation for you guys. Yep. If you find that the task of getting your financial world in good order for this exciting journey is something which you are not able to do alone, I would strongly suggest you seek out professional assistance. Thank you, Enzo. This is something that almost all wealthy people do. This is why they say coaching is a wealth sport. Only the wealthy get coached. Right? Only the people with big dreams get coached. Why? Because it provides them with the ability to accelerate fast, quick. They want easy. They want fast. It might not be easy, but it'll be fast. Coaching gives you shortcuts. That's why it's a wealth sport. This is to say wealthy individuals follow the advice of financial experts. It is similar in principle to the idea that if a person's body were sick, he or she would likely seek out a skilled physician for advice. Moreover, you should also keep in mind that even healthy people, if they are wise, periodically go to a doctor for a checkup. In other words, you do not always need to get sick in order to get better. Woo! Whoa, that's deep. Do you all hear that? Do you hear? In other words, you do not always have to, you don't always need to be sick to get better. You don't always need to be at rock bottom to want more for your life and for yourself. You do not always need to get sick in order to get better. You can be happy and still want more. Bob Proctor says to always be happy and grateful for what you have, but never be satisfied. Because when you settle, you close the door to everything, to all the other opportunities that are possible for you, right? When you settle, when you stop chasing, you grow stagnant. It has already been brought to your attention that very few people ever develop real expertise in the area of serious financial planning. Therefore, you should seek out a competent financial counselor in much the same manner as you would seek assistance in matters of a legal nature. There are companies that provide this type of financial service in every city. In some places, they are not too easy to find, but they are there if you will only look for them. A lot of these phrases can be applied in very broad terms as well. He says in some places they are not too easy to find, but they are there if you will only look for them. Your answers are there if you open yourself up to receiving them. The same way that I said earlier, when you are trying to manifest something, when you're desiring something, you must position yourself to receive it. right? You must use the resources that you do have to receive it, the skills that you do have to receive it, the insights that you do have to receive it. Are y'all still here? Are y'all listening? Y'all, I don't want to be talking to a wall now. Whew. Thank you, Ismail. Ismail. I had the pleasure of being instrumental in the startup of just such a company in the city of Toronto, Canada in 1979. The name of the company is the McCrary Group. Today, the company has almost 5,000 happy clients who are well on their way to financial independence. The McCrary Group makes all of its clients very aware of an interesting financial fact, which I would like to share with you at this time. This fact is people fall into 3 distinct categories with respect to finances. Number 1, deficit position, which is in debt. Number 2, break-even position, which means just getting by but debt-free. And number 3, surplus position, which obviously means you have an excess, an overflow of cash. It would be very easy to trick oneself into believing that if one were in category 1 or 2, all one must do is earn more money, and then one would automatically graduate into the 3rd category. But of course, this is not necessarily true. For if a person is in a deficit financial position, it means that they are in the habit of spending more money than they earn. Similarly, if they are in a break-even position, which means they're barely getting by, paycheck to paycheck, they are in the habit of spending everything they earn. Since we are all creatures of habit, it follows that earning more money would not necessarily change our overall financial position. It is vitally important. No, I don't. It is vitally important that when you decide how much is enough, you also design a new financial plan or have one designed for you, which will force you to discipline yourself, at least for a month or 2, until you form the new habit of living by that new plan. We're almost done with chapter 2. The next chapter, The Image Maker, will help you to understand how and why you must begin to see yourself already earning that new figure. But for the time being, hold on, let me read that again. The next chapter, The Image Maker, will help you to understand how and why you must begin to see yourself already earning that new figure. Visualization. But for the time being, just bear in mind that as your income increases, the 10% you are saving increases and the 20% that is going into your DCA increases, which means that you'll be able to retire debts faster. Furthermore, you will then be left with 90% of your income on which to live. I can see you getting excited about this idea already. Oh my God. Should I continue or what? Should I continue or what? Drunk in love. I think this is the end of today's live, y'all. We've been on for about 3 hours now. OMG, OMG, OMG. Any last thoughts, last words? What do y'all learn from this? I think I'm gonna start doing that. I think I'm gonna start just reading my books on live, because it would help me achieve my goal of reading books, and especially because these are books that I already have an understanding of it. I would just want to further strengthen my, you know what I'm saying, refresh your memory, and then it will also help me share what I know, because when I read, I get inspired, right? It reminds me of things that I've experienced that align with what I'm reading. So I think that's what I'm going to start doing from now on. I'm going to start reading my books on live. I have so many books, y'all. So many books that I want to finish, right? I have one called You Own the Power by Rosemary Altia. And it's a beautiful book. Very, very beautiful. I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start reading my books on live. That's a really fun idea. Excuse me. It's like a free audiobook, y'all. That's beautiful. I have another one called Awakening Intuition, Using Your Mind-Body Network for Insight and Healing by Mona Lisa Schultz. She has an MD and a PhD. Thank you so much. Ismail. Thank you. Okay. Another one I wanna read is Influencer. Good night, sir. The Power to Change Anything. Beautiful. Uh-oh, I dropped that one. And I have this big old book that I barely pushed through. I should read this on live. That is such a good idea. I should read this on live. Oh my God. These are divine ideas that I'm getting right now. These are like God ideas. These are like godly ideas, y'all. This is going to be so fun. I'm going to start a book club on my live. Oh my God. I love that idea. This is called The Miracle Power of Your Mind by Joseph Murphy. I've only read like a few pages of it, but Lord, can you imagine if I finish this book? Can you imagine? It's half of the size of my face. But I'm very much. I'm only on like page. What am I on? Page 8 or 9? Page 8. It's beautiful. Before I leave, y'all, I want to read a portion of it that resonated with me heavily when I first started reading it. Okay. Whew. These works were written in the early 20th century. So it's a collection. So this big old book is a collection of 20 books. Okay, let's read chapter 1. Let's just read that and I'm going to go to bed. I got to go eat. Listen, y'all. Are y'all listening? Look at this big old book. I'm going to read it to you. Okay? I'm going to do this. It's content creation. All right. Excuse me. Chapter 1, Divine Guidance. If thou knewest the gift of God and who it is that saith to thee, I guess this is the Bible verse, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. I've got to read that a few times to understand it, but I won't do that right now. All right. Let's move forward. The living water means inspiration. The word inspiration comes from the Latin spiro, which meaning I breathe into. We breathe air without effort. Likewise, we must let the divine light or creative essence of God flow through our intellect without tension. Okay, keyword, without tension. Without trying to judge it, without judging it, without trying to logically justify it. The subjective mind in us perceives by intuition. The subjective mind in us perceives by intuition. It does not have to reason or inquire, as it is all wise, infinite intelligence. That is the intuition. If you say to your subconscious, sometimes referred to as the subjective mind, being subject, which means being subject to the conscious mind, wake me up at 7 o'clock, you know that you awaken at exactly at that time specified. It never fails. We must realize that herein lies a source of power which is omnipotent. Many good people have erroneous ideas about being inspired. They believe that it is an extraordinary event to be experienced by mystics or highly spiritual people, and they think it applies to prayer and the Bible only. This is not true. Any businessman or woman may be inspired by turning to God, and information or divine guidance may be received for any problem. Amen. Do you all hear that? Let me read that last sentence again. Any businessman or woman may be inspired by turning to God, and information or divine guidance may be received for any problem. Your business problem can be solved by turning to God for the answer, and your information may be general or specific. For example, if you are an executive of a commercial organization and you want a new idea for your sales program, try the following technique. If you are in business, have a private office where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes, be still, think of the attributes and qualities of God which are within yourself. This will generate a mood of peace, power, and confidence. Then speak in the following simple manner to the Father within who doeth the works. Father, thou knowest all things. Give me the idea necessary for a new program. That's beautiful. All you're doing is asking God and then opening yourself up to receiving the answer. Begin to imagine that you now have the answer and that it is flowing through you. You must not pretend, really believe it, accept it, and then drop it. The latter is most important and is the secret of the whole process. You drop it. After the silence, get busy. Do something and become preoccupied with routine matters. Above all, do not sit waiting around for the answer. It comes when you think not and the moment you expect not. The inner voice of intuition speaks like a flash. It is always spontaneous and unannounced. You may get any type of information which will help you along the road to success. Intuition, which means being taught from within, knows the answer and does not require previous experience. We must realize that God has only the answer. He knows no problem, hence we rise to the point of recognition of the answer. The answer flows through the problem, and there is no problem. No reasoning power. Y'all, listen. There is no reasoning power that is involved, and the amazing suddenness with which the solution comes sometimes is startling. In our Young People's Forum, we now teach intuition and inspiration. They find it fascinating and illuminating. Intuition is the soft tread of the unseen guest. We must welcome this King of Kings and sing his praises. Then he will make frequent visits. Woo! That's powerful. The abandonment of the, oh my God, y'all, this is just power. The abandonment of the intellectual reason for the wisdom of God is intuition. I'm going to repeat that. The abandonment of the intellectual reason for the wisdom of God is intuition. We abandon our, let me read that. We abandon our objective reasoning only in the sense of deferring it to a higher guide. After we have received an intuition, we use reason in carrying it out. You may get specific information about anything. For example, you may be writing a book and require special data, perhaps written 1000 BC. The information may be in the British Museum or in the New York Public Library. It might take you days or weeks to find it if you do not know specifically what you want. In such instances, relax, be still, and say silently and quietly to your Father, your subconscious, "Thou knowest all things, give me this information." Drop off to sleep with the one word answer. In that relaxed mood, you repeat the word answer. Your subjective is all wise, knows what type of answer you desire, and will answer in a dream as a hunch or a feeling that you are being led on the right track. You may get a sudden flash to go someplace. A person may give you the answer. I have ways that you know not of. Many are led to an old bookstore where they pick up the very book that gives them the desired idea, the desired data, I mean. We must be ever watchful for impressions as divine guidance. For when a feeling or idea comes to us, we must be able to recognize it. That's key. Are you able to recognize when your answers are being sent over to you, drawn to you, given to you, right? There are two reasons why we may not acknowledge our hunches. These reasons are tension and failure to recognize them. If we are in a negative, despondent, bitter mood, divine guidance is impossible. Wow. As a matter of fact, only negative guidance will prevail. Ooh, wow. That's freaking heavy. If we are in a happy, confident, and joyous mood, we will recognize the flashes of intuition that come to us. Moreover, we will feel under subjective compulsion to carry them out. That's interesting. You'll be put under subjective compulsion to carry them out. So you'll basically feel the need to carry them out, right? It is necessary, therefore, to be still and relaxed when you pray for guidance, for nothing can be achieved by tenseness, tension, fear, or apprehension. So you must be in a relaxed mood to receive this guidance, to receive this clarity, and to receive the answers that you are seeking. Be in a relaxed mood. Pray, relax, expect it, drop it. Who has not had the experience of being unable to remember a name, then dropping the search, have the name come to him later during repose? If you try too hard to hear a telephone ring, you cannot. Let us consider the failure to recognize the voice of intuition. For example, suppose we are gazing idly into a store window. An eccentric millionaire puts a $500 bill in our hand. We throw it away, thinking it is an advertisement for a dance hall or beauty parlor. We must be on the alert for divine ideas or feelings that come to us and be able to recognize them. In emergencies, guidance comes immediately because we lean all of our weight on the Christ within or on the God within. Thus, we place all our burden onto God and are free. Then comes salvation. The answer to everything is within. You would not have sought me had you not already found me. For business and professional people, the cultivation of the intuitive faculty is of paramount importance. Intuition offers instantaneously that which the intellect or reasoning mind of man could only accomplish only after weeks or months of monumental trial and error. When our reasoning faculties fail us in our perplexities, the intuitive faculty sings the silent song of triumph. The conscious mind of man is reasoning. The conscious mind of man is reasoning, analytical, and inquisitive. The subjective faculty of intuition is always spontaneous. It comes as a beacon to the conscious intellect. Many times it speaks as a warning against a proposed trip or plan of action. We must listen and learn to heed the voice of wisdom. It does not always speak to you when you wish it to do so, but only when you need it. If we will only believe and not pretend to believe that God is guiding us now in all our ways, in all our thoughts, words, and deeds, we shall be led along the right road. Artists, poets, writers, and inventors listen to this voice of intuition. As a result, they are able They are able to astonish the world by the beauties and glories drawn from this storehouse of knowledge within themselves. That's the key, y'all. It's intuition, right? Why does this artist create such beautiful art? It's because they surrender to their intuition and they don't judge their creation because they understand it's coming from God, it's coming from source. Become still, relax, close your eyes, and say, Father, thou knowest all things. I am writing a novel. Give me the characters, names, locations, and setting. Rejoice that the answer is flowing through you now. Drop off to sleep with the word novel on your lips, silently repeating it until you are lost in the deep of sleep. The word novel is etched in the subconscious. In the morning or a few days later, you will sit down to write and the words will flow. Ideas will come in an unending stream, and you will say, Thank you, Father. Thank you, God. The word intuition also means inner hearing. The oldest definition for revelation meant that which is heard. Jesus said, As I hear, I judge. Hearing is not the only way to nurture intuition. Sometimes it comes as a thought, but the most common way is to hear the voice. Many times it is a voice whose texture, color, and substance you can hear as plainly as the voice over the radio. The scientist uses his wonderful gift of imagination, and in the silence, he sees fulfillment. His intuition to his particular science. Intuition goes much farther than reason. You discard reason, then comes intuition. You employ reason to carry out intuition. When you receive intuition, you will often find that it is the opposite to what your reasoning would have told you. This is how one young lady in the advertising business produces her wonderful slogans. She drops off to sleep with the word slogan on her lips, knowing that the answer will be forthcoming, and it always is. He never failed. I'm gonna have to continue this series of reading y'all books. Whew. Okay, I gotta go, y'all. If you're still here, thank you. I gotta go eat, sleep, wake up in the morning, and do it again. All right, y'all.